guest with us tonight is who, you all? Felicia
Burns.
Yes. Oh, wow. We're going to have a good show tonight. We always have good shows. Don't y'all agree?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we are.
Yes,
Before
we
we get on prime time, whatever, you have to deal with us on Facebook and what? YouTube. Every Monday and Thursday. Tune in. 8 p.m. Facebook and YouTube at 7:45. Okay? All right. So this is a Christian-based talk show. And our scripture is
Philippians 1:6.
and being confident of this very thing, he that which has begun a good work in you, will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. So that means, hey, we don't retire when it comes to Jesus, okay?
Amen.
So we're going to have a good time tonight. Now, we have our question. Our icebreaker question is, Kimberly gonna love this one. What would be your favorite eye catcher, Kimberly, about a man? What captured your attention when you see the man?
About my man, my husband.
Yeah, but what happened? I mean, something captured your attention.
Because there ain't no other man. Let me just put this out here, public service announcement. There is no other man but Keith Jeffries. I don't see nobody else. Can't see nobody else. Hello.
She's blinded to all
I
other
am
men.
blinded by
Look,
his
y'all,
love.
she's blinded. But what captured your
captivated?
attention when you saw Keith?
His smile, your smile, honey, and those eyes that were just on me. He had contact lenses on, so I thought they were hazel, but they were contact lenses. So I was like, "Oh, you fooled me."
But he got you though.
Yes, he
All
did.
right though. Okay, Linda, what about you? She's single, y'all, so she's still looking. She's looking for that man. So she's single. Come on, Lindy.
I say they smile, their height, and their color.
What color? They come in all shades.
I know, but dark skin. I love dark skin.
Like this color, dark skin? You want them that dark?
Or
yes.
just some shade a little higher, but yeah, I love black men.
Yes.
Oh, she loves those
black men.
black
Dark skin.
chocolate men.
Yeah.
Wow.
They are so pretty next to you.
They
Oh,
are.
really?
They
Oh,
are.
they bring out your
Yeah.
color?
They are.
Yeah,
Oh, they
you're
do,
right.
Kimberly?
Yeah.
Because my husband, he's dark complexion. He's not as dark, but
Yeah.
nothing like a dark man. They always say tall, dark, and handsome, right?
Right.
You know,
Well,
how
I
does it
missed
sound?
out.
Tall, light skinned, and handsome. That don't even
Mine
sound
is
right.
not
Tall,
tall,
light
black,
skinned.
and
That don't even sound right. does it?
Right.
I missed out.
Sorry,
Mine is
Apostle.
freckle
Sorry,
faced.
Apostle. Sorry,
He have
Apostle.
freckles and he's light skinned. And
You need to stop.
but anyway, I still love you anyway, baby.
Amen.
Okay,
Man.
Felicia, that's your question too.
What? Wait a minute. How I get it?
Now she trying to act like she got selective hearing.
Like, how I
Okay,
get it?
Felicia.
How I get it?
What? I gotta ask the question again.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Well, my last husband, bow legs.
Ooh.
Wow,
yeah.
bow. I got bow legs.
Oh, those are nice.
Yeah, okay, the bow
Bow
legs, they wrap around good. I had to get her on that one, okay. But anyway, so bow-legged men and dark-skinned men, freckle-faced men. We'll take y'all up here, okay? All right.
Rainbow Coalition.
Oh, rainbow.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not talking about that kind.
Okay, Lindy. Okay, but Carlos is dark and chocolate and got that pretty curly hair, y'all, and he's single. And Emmanuel is light-skinned and he's single too, y'all.
Is he
I
tall?
don't see, and
You didn't tell me.
he's 6 something.
Okay, ladies, he's tall. He has
Yeah.
a great smile.
Yeah, we're gonna describe him too.
Carlos is cuddly.
Yeah, Carlos got good hugs. I heard on yesterday.
Yes, he got good hugs.
Yeah, so if y'all want a good hugging man that's like a teddy bear,
Emmanuel has
Carlos.
yeah.
he's
Emmanuel
one
has
of
an
our
amazing
producers.
smile.
Emmanuel's sort of quiet, but
But he has an amazing smile.
He sure
His
does.
smile lights up the room.
because he came from good product.
Yeah.
All right,
Amen.
okay, now we got to get into our sauce. So Felicia, tonight, I am the yellow mustard sauce, okay? Because we like to get into people's sauce,
Oh.
okay? And we like to see, and mine's it'll squirt. So if anybody get out of order up here, I get. sauce.
Okay.
Okay? So the sauce, the yellow sauce is sort of cautious. We don't jump into everything, okay?
Okay.
All right, now, and Linda's going to describe hers.
I'm Heinz. I'm trying to catch up.
She always behind.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't take that in a negative way.
Amen.
Now.
Please don't.
But anyway, she has a squirt ball too. So.
Yeah, I do.
And Kimberly is hot mama over here. What's yours, Kimberly?
Slap your mama.
She's so mean.
Slap
Who
your
wants to
mama.
slap
Slap
their
your
mama?
mama. Slap your mama. We're gonna slap your mama.
That's some good seasoning though.
Yes,
And what's
it
the
is.
other one?
Yeah.
This one is somehow I became the devil's advocate because I always see the other side of the spectrum.
Yes.
That may not be the norm.
That's right. But she's good with that, okay? All right. Okay, now, before we get into ketchup, mustard, slap your mama, hot sauce, we want you all to determine at the end of the show which one is Felicia. She like, I'm going to be one of these sauces
Yeah, you
up
need to be
here.
slap-
Oh,
Your
which one
mama.
I'm gonna be? Is
Yeah,
that what it is?
that's what we're going to do.
Oh,
Funky.
okay.
But it depends on how much we get off into your sauce.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Your business.
Is she beautiful? She is so
Yes,
beautiful. I
yes,
love your
yes,
smile. I love it. Okay, so we asked Felicia to come on the show so we can find out a little bit about Felicia, okay?
Right.
So Felicia, we want you to tell our audience a little bit about your background, how you came about, what's exciting in your life, what's your passion. Tell us a little about you, Felicia, okay?
Okay. Well, I am Felicia Burns.
Hey, Felicia.
Hi.
Hi.
How are y'all?
Wonderful.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Good.
And what you want to know how it came about?
Where
Yeah,
you came
tell us a little bit
from?
about
Is
you.
this
You
your
know,
home?
I know a little
well,
bit
I
about
was-
you, you know. So
Okay, well, I was born in Fort Worth.
big cow
Still in
town.
Fort Worth. I'm not going nowhere that I know of unless God tell me to go somewhere else. I love where I live, and I love the people in Fort Worth as well. And as you say, I was born and raised right here on the south side, up the street from here. So I have 4 children.
Oh wow.
Gosh, you look
I'm not
good.
that old.
Are they all grown?
Yes.
No wonder you
One-
looking good.
Yeah, I got 4 children and 3 grandchildren.
Get out of
Wow.
here.
Yes.
Oh, girl,
I
you
do.
look good to have
I
3
do.
What age are the grandchildren?
Oh, they babies. One of them is my second son. He got married, so
Who
they
got
have
married?
Percy Jr.
Hi, Percy Jr. Congratulations. You and the wife.
Yeah,
Okay.
Percy Jr. is married, so they have a daughter. She's 6, and my baby boy DeAndre. I have a 5-month-old grandbaby
Okay.
and a 3-year-old.
Wow.
Hi, Smiley. I call him Smiley.
Yeah.
He always smiled. Every time you say he's just smiling.
Yes,
So,
he
hi,
does.
Smiley. Okay, so what about your ministry? I know you have a ministry.
Yes, I've always God, gave me the ministry years back, and I'm a person that I obey God, so I don't make too many sudden moves. And the more He tell me to do, that's what I do.
Good.
If He tell me to make a move, I make that move.
Right,
So
right.
recently, I just announced that I will be starting a church in 2021
Okay.
called the True Faith Deliverance Church.
Go to
Right.
Faith
Yes,
Deliverance
all
Church.
right.
Good. That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it's
good.
not something that you grow up wanting to do.
Hey,
That was the last thing on
I know
my
that's
agenda
right. I hear you.
was to be a pastor, but it had already been told to me that I was going to be ordained as a pastor, and I didn't even know it and didn't expect it even
I
on
hear
the
you.
ordination day. And until I looked at my certificate and I was like, it says pastor. So just knowing that it's all ordained by God. So
Yeah.
that's
Are
what's
you
about.
scared about going into the?
I try not to be,
Okay.
but it's the unexpected. Because I'm not going in saying this is what I'm gonna do and this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, you gonna. Do
I'm gonna do what
said.
God say.
Right.
So you
right.
don't know what God's gonna do, and
Right.
you have to wait on Him. So, trying not to have the spirit of fear, but it's there
Yeah.
because I don't know what to expect.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
Right.
It's gonna be
Right.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, how did you know that you was called into the ministry? I mean, did you grow up with this spirit, or?
Oh no. I mean, I was always in church from
But
the
was
time.
the church always in you?
No,
Okay, that's
No.
what they always say.
no. I was in church. The first remembrance I can actually remember as a child,
Uh-huh.
I was 4. and I was in the Taney Tot choir, going back when I was 4 years old. So being in church all my life, no, the church was not in me because I was in church, but not just doing what I wanted to do.
Right.
You know, and I was going out of tradition because that's the way I was raised.
Right,
I was raised to go on Sunday. I was raised to dress modest. I was raised that way. But I would be in there and other things would be on my church when Jesus
Church wasn't on your mind.
Jesus, not at
Girl,
all.
you sitting in church and not thinking about what the pastor and the choir and all this.
I wasn't listening. I couldn't even tell you what they were preaching about. I couldn't even tell you what they were preaching
No,
about.
you really don't.
I did.
Linda, you went through that too?
Yeah, because my thing is, God, where are we going to go party after this service?
Yeah.
Over? And I pray that we don't have no 6 o'clock BTU tonight.
Yeah.
Ooh, what sauce is that? What sauce is that? That's the devil advocate sauce over there. Okay, so
I know, right?
well, you wasn't in church all your life, but you was in church. You were listening to the pastor. You go out and do your thing.
Yes.
So what happened? What changed you? What?
That encounter with God.
Whoa.
That encounter with
Well,
God.
how was that? Their encounter.
I can't even explain it. I can't even explain it.
It was
It's
that
surreal.
awesome.
It was surreal.
Did it scare you?
Yeah, because the first time I could actually hear his voice, it was as if somebody was in the car with me talking. And when I heard him the first time, I hit my brakes.
Girl, you could have had a red.
It wasn't nobody on the road. But I hit my brakes and I was like, no, I'm not going crazy, right? And you know, and
Did you
then
hear
he
Can you
began,
remember what he said?
he said, I called you.
You just heard this voice while you driving and said, did it call your name or you just heard I called
No,
you?
it told me I've called you. And I was like, who? You know, like, who's calling me? You know,
nobody in the car with you.
Nobody in the car. And he says,
Wow.
I've called you. And then I says, okay, so what am I supposed to do? You know? And he told me to go to a particular person, and then they would tell me because they already knew. So God let people know the calling on your life, especially when you're under them. And I went to him because he was my pastor at the time. And he said, he gave me some instructions. He knew, he said, I already knew. And then he gave me these instructions. So after the instructions, I wasn't in there. I had been at that church for many, many years from when I was a kid. And this is when I left. It was time for me to leave. And I didn't get to go further into information with him. And then it was when I came to the church within that I was groomed into announcing I was called, because I was afraid, because you don't play with God.
That's right.
You don't play with God when you accept your calling.
Right.
And I kept saying, I'm not right, Lord. I'm not right. You know, I can't play with you.
Well, who gonna get you right then?
Jesus gets me.
You said, I'm not right, no, I'm not right.
At the time, I wasn't right. I wasn't right. And I knew he had to work on me.
Okay. So you didn't jump into the ministry right then. When
Oh,
you heard the call.
no.
How long did it take you though?
It took me, it was up until when I announced my calling, it had been 2 years.
Oh, really?
It had already been 2 years.
Wow. So when you announced your calling, you were sure then that
I was sure.
you was ready to go.
I was ready.
You was ready.
Yeah, I was ready.
Okay.
I was ready to accept, and I was ready for change, and ready for God to work on me. And anything that's not of him, I asked him right now, change me, help me, because bring out what I don't know that's in me, so that I can get delivered. So that is
okay. Now this is the big question: how did your mom and your family
oh, come on now.
You know, I want to know, Felicia. We got to get into your sauce now.
Okay, so
I know my mom too, y'all.
I asked God, what am I to him? Because, you know, everybody else give you these titles. They'll give you, I was Evangelist Burns.
Were you ever
I
Reverend
was
Burns?
Minister Burns. I wasn't Reverend Burns. People call me Reverend right today. But I was called Minister Burns. I was called Evangelist Burns. And every time they would say it, right.
That's right.
And every time they would say minister and evangelist, I said, okay, I don't know what these titles are, but Lord, what am I to you? Right. And he told me, you're my prophet.
All right.
And when he said that I'm his prophet, I was like, there are prophets? You know, I didn't know no better. And I was like, I'm a prophet. And then he explained, you know, he takes you back to you've always been a prophet. You've always been able to speak things before it happened. And then I went back to when I can actually remember when I spoke something and it happened. I was speaking to my 5th grade friends about how their life was gonna be.
And what they say?
And they didn't understand, you know, kids, you talking about me. You doing this. And I would tell them, I would actually tell them, you're gonna do this. I told one girl, I said, you're gonna have a baby when you're 13.
Were you young then?
Yeah, I was 12.
You was 12 years old and you was speaking into their lives. And what did she say?
No, she ain't gonna have no kids. She did.
And she did
when
have
she was
one
13.
So did that scare you? I mean, you a young girl doing this.
I didn't know what I was saying.
And you didn't know what you were saying. You were just speaking it. And
I was just speaking.
Did they call you crazy when you were little?
Half the time. My family even called me crazy.
Yeah, because you walking in there, you a little girl.
Yeah.
And you telling somebody you're gonna get pregnant at 13. That's early.
Yeah. That's
Your
what I was doing.
mom thought you was crazy, or?
My mom didn't understand. She was I would have dreams and the dreams would actually scare me to the fact that when I would open my eyes, I would scream and things in my dream because they thinking that they were real. And when I would open my eyes, when she would try to wake me up, I could still see what I see. I could see it.
Right.
I could see and she would try to snap me out of it.
Right.
But she didn't understand.
So you were like in a trance. And she
in a different realm.
Right.
I could see in a different realm.
And did you ever go to your mom and tell your mom things?
I really can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember.
So
I may have.
But how did she accept you when you told her about you was going to be ordained, you was going to be a pastor, you opening up this church and
well, as far as when I was gonna, I think she knew because mothers always know when there's a calling, when there's a calling on your life. But when I put that prophetess in front of my name, that was a big problem for my family.
Why?
From what I'm told, they were asking like, what makes her think that that she can put that name there? And I had one cousin that came for me saying like, why you calling yourself a prophet? And why you even get into names like that? And I'm not, in that sense, I'm not confrontational. I feel like I don't have to explain anything to you.
No, it's God gave you right?
That's right. If I'm speaking things and they're coming to pass, I don't even have to tell you I'm a prophet.
Right.
Because you will know based on what God is telling me.
Right.
So afterwards, it took a while, but they know now.
Okay. Are they afraid of you?
I don't think so.
You know, because some people, when they hear the word prophet, they're scared because they scared you're going to see something on them.
Yes.
No.
And they don't want to. Because Linda used to be really scared about that.
And the thing with prophecy is that being a prophet, it has to be in you first, period.
That's right.
It has to be in the person first. Because a prophet can prophesy stuff, and if it's not in the person, and I think sometimes people just grab onto it just because the prophet said it.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, the Bible always says first that there's a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto we do well that we take heed. And that's the word.
Yeah.
In the beginning was the word. The word always overrides everything that man says. Because we aren't perfect.
That's right.
And
you're not perfect, Kimberly.
Girl, ain't even trying to be no more. I used to try to be, but it don't work. It didn't work. I'd be like, oh, forget this, man. And I think that's why people are afraid, because they're growing up, there were just so many prophets. They always embarrassed you and humiliated you. Versus coming over to you, saying to you, okay, God's giving me a word. They tell everybody what may not be for everybody.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Just tell the person in their ear. And I think some prophets are always wanting to let people know that they are real for some reason. So they want because I was at a church and I went to visit, and there was this lady. I'm sitting in the back minding my own business, probably on Instagram. And she wanted to call me out and said, you right there. I'm just like, well, who's she talking to? The Lord told me to tell you. The Lord told me to tell you this. I was like, Lord, you didn't tell her to tell me that. But if that's what she needs to make her feel like she's doing something, whatever. You did not send me here for that. You didn't even say that. But instead of embarrassing her, she's on this big stage. I was like, okay, maybe she just picked out me because I'm back here and she know I'm on Instagram, because she know that I know that what she's saying ain't I was like, okay, she is really out there telling these people all this crazy stuff, but I ain't gonna say nothing. And I'm like, really? God didn't say that. He would have told me first.
That's right.
He would have told me. It would have confirmed with me.
It's
And
just
I was like,
confirmation.
okay, she needs that, you know, to validate who she is. Because when you have the word and it's God, you know, the people need to rely on the word first. Because when Satan comes at you and you ain't got no word, you just got what the prophet said, he gonna punch you right in your face. And then he gonna punch you again.
That's right.
Well, the Lord told me to go out and build this church. Okay, we're gonna take your building, we're gonna take your money, you don't have no job, we done took your kids, we done stripped you of everything. Then you don't have nothing. What the prophet said, no, what does the
God
word
said.
say?
That's
and I
right.
think that's why, especially because that's all you see. It's pretty much prophets embarrassing people or knocking somebody down, you know, hitting them in the chest and knocking them down. I said, let a prophet hit me. I'm gonna kick it right in his knee. You hear that? I'm gonna kick him. Devil's advocate. I'm gonna hit him in the knee.
The devil advocate.
I'm gonna kick him. I'm gonna tell him no.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that the only time we didn't have prophets where I came from.
Wow.
We didn't. We might have had them, but we never.
Oh no, that's neat. I was just going, wow,
you
that's
know.
neat.
But the thing is that I believe that when God sends a prophet, now it has to be God and not these prophet liars.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Then I think that's the most ultimate gift from God. You know, so I applaud you that you own it, because some people will not own being that because you know, a judgment and everyone, you know, well, she said she a prophet, but she said this and that, and all this hadn't came true. Yeah. But it in the word it said that it will come true if it's from God.
That's right.
If it's from God. That's the thing you have to watch. All this stuff has to be from God.
That's right.
And then sometimes we put ourselves up there because we got to boast about, well, I'm the one that told you, I'm the one. No,
it is.
If it came from God, it came from God. It didn't come from you.
That's right.
You're just the messenger.
That's right.
So you can't kill the messenger.
That's right.
You know. But I applaud you.
What you say?
Someone need to be killed.
Because
I mean, what you're saying is true. Because a lot that's going on right now. Everybody's yelling, "This person's a false prophet." This person. They may have said something wrong one time, but is that their lifestyle?
That's right.
If they say something wrong one time, okay, but do they live a lifestyle of consistency, prophet line? You know, I like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they call it.
Some of them. I tell people all the time. It's in the Bible. It says, the sons and daughters, they will prophesy.
Yeah.
There's a difference between prophesy and being a prophet, office of a prophet.
Yeah.
Right.
Because God shows the prophet things that he can't trust to show anybody else.
Right.
Because I had someone to actually say, if I could see the things that you see, I would use it.
For what though? What they
for themselves.
For
themselves.
Yeah.
They were using it.
You know, they did that in the Bible too.
They were using it.
They was using it for the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And we have that today. They use it for the wrong,
thing.
And a lot of times they want money.
They want
the money and
or
stuff.
sex,
That's right.
money.
They want what, Kimber?
Sex.
They do.
Yeah.
Some money or to have you as their servant, you know.
They brainwash people.
Right.
Manipulate.
Because people really want to serve God and they really want to hear from the prophet. And the prophet takes that and uses that liberty as a cloak of maliciousness to get people into some type of slavery on their behalf. And people don't have the courage to say, oh, hell no, I ain't doing that. I got to go to work. I already work 40 hours a week. I ain't doing all that crazy stuff.
That's true. That's true.
People are just afraid.
Yeah. So, you know, some people are afraid to come around prophet because they scared you're going to see into their life and you're going to tell them that. That's really why I'm asking. You know, have you been in position like something like that? Where some of them say, oh, shoot, here comes Felicia. That's that prophet girl. You better leave.
So, because I've had people that be in my presence that stay away from me, and the Lord gives you discernment, so you will know. But what I tell people all the time, I don't need to be in your presence for God to tell me anything about you. I can be at home, in my bed or reading the word, and boom, he'll tell me about it, and I don't even know you. And then it comes a time and a place for you to speak, because we shouldn't be so quick to speak.
Right.
Good.
And-
It says that in the word.
And you
Yeah,
wait
yeah.
on God to give it to you, but you're not supposed to speak until He gives you the opportunity to speak.
Right.
You know, so
He'll clear
I
the
tell them that
landing.
all the time. Don't be afraid of me. Now those that come up and they want a prophecy, and sometimes they be waiting on it, and I be looking at them dead like this.
You don't have nothing for me, Felicia?
No, baby, the
Lady
Lord ain't told me
Felicia, you don't
nothing.
have a word for me?
No, I don't. Encourage yourself.
Okay. Because that's what they
Encourage
do.
yourself.
They be waiting
I
on
don't
you
have
to say
nothing
something.
for you. I don't.
They be waiting. Then they want you to make up stuff for them.
Yeah.
They be waiting like, please say something.
Now be encouraged.
Be encouraged. I like that one.
Be
Be
encouraged.
encouraged, y'all.
Be encouraged.
Be
Because
encouraged.
if we
That's
speak,
right.
if we speak out of turn, we get in trouble.
You get in trouble.
because we're speaking and
And-
God has not told us to
and-
speak.
Right.
You know, and
That's
we
dangerous.
get in trouble with God. I think the last thing you want to do is get in trouble with God.
Oh, yes.
I'd rather get in trouble with men before I get in trouble with God.
Right.
Because God has more control
Yes.
over things that I have no control
Yes.
over, because
Right.
he's my life. He guides my future,
That's
my
it.
present
That's
time,
it.
what I receive,
Right.
how
That's
I
true.
live,
Right.
and He can control that.
Right.
So I don't play with it.
And then you
I
don't
play
want
with
to.
it.
You don't want that on your name either. That you just say stuff just to comfort
right.
people. And you know the Bible talks about the itching ears.
Yeah.
People
Oh,
just
yeah.
want you to
Want
say
you to
something.
say something.
Yeah.
And so they take that prophetic out of context because they want you to give them something.
That's right.
And that's
Well.
thousands of people out there, and everybody might not get.
And I think they
prophesied
forget
to.
about the Holy Spirit.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm
He's your
good.
best
Yeah,
prophet.
I'm good.
She good.
She said, I'm
She
good.
good. She's good.
I
So,
am.
you
Yes.
good. Okay, so what else can you share with us about your ministry? Now I've seen you on Facebook with your is it the radio station?
I don't do it anymore.
You don't do
I
it
had
anymore?
to give it up.
Okay.
I was doing this thing called Ghetto News.
Yeah.
Ghetto
And it's
news.
Ghetto
News.
girl.
Ghetto
Ghetto
And it was,
news.
Ghetto
it was
news.
fun because
Yes.
this is when the pandemic first started.
Yeah.
We were locked down. We
Right.
couldn't go anywhere.
Right.
And I was working from home, so I wasn't going out because I'm like, I don't want this. Whatever this is,
Right.
Lord.
Right.
You know, but He tells the prophets, He tells us what's coming. And I already knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So
We
I
did
knew
too.
that I
That's
had to
true.
stay in the house.
Yeah.
But I had to find something to
To
do
do.
to occupy my
Ghetto
time.
News.
So I started doing Ghetto News. But
That
after
is
a
so
while,
What was the content on Ghetto News?
Ghetto News was I would look at all the news channels and I would bring comedy from it.
Oh, good.
So I would look at Trump and I would make fun of Trump, and I would make fun of the news broadcasters, and I would imitate things, and then I would bring the church
And make people
into it
laugh.
and make you laugh about it. And I would sing these crazy songs in the ghetto way, not in the real way. And it would have people it was giving them laughter in this time.
Oh, trouble.
You know, in this time of the, you know,
Right.
everything's going on with the
There's so much
mind.
people
Can you think
going
of something
through
real funny right now, you did?
Oh yeah. I was singing Jennifer Holiday.
What's
I
on
am
that?
I am telling you,
What?
I'm not going. And I was doing that on
Do it,
Facebook.
do it.
But the best thing I've ever known.
Uh-huh.
There's no So I did that. I was playing my tambourine like it was a drum.
She was having
I
fun
was
on Ghetto
having-
News.
I think I was having so much fun. And then God said it's a time, it's a season for everything, and it's time
Right.
to quit.
Uh-huh.
And I came on Facebook and I quit
Wow.
because He told me to quit. And I was like, wow, I gotta give it up. You gotta give it up. It's time. You gotta focus on some other things.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I went on Facebook and I told him I'm done with Ghetto News, and it was fun, and I had to let it go.
You just did it during the pandemic, or you have stuff on Instagram? I mean, on YouTube.
I just did it on Facebook.
Oh, that's
It was just a
good.
Facebook
It was
thing.
funny, though.
I would do it with my son. I would give my kids names. Like my oldest son would do it with me, and I called him Country Boy. And we would sit, and then I would have my shades on, and I would be doing things like this, and I go, Country Boy. And he would be like, I'm not gonna play with you. And then he'll say, Mama. I say, I'm not your mama. I am Fifi Burns. I'm not your mama. I said, you must be talking about Prophetess Burns. So one segment, he kept doing stuff. They were doing stuff. Him and my baby boy was doing stuff. And I said, oh, I'm gonna go get Prophetess Burns. And I came back and I took the thing out my head, and then I came in looking different, and I was acting like the prophet. So it was fun. It was fun.
Oh
it
my
was really
God.
fun. So, but yeah, When God tell you it's a season for
It's a
everything,
wrap.
Right.
it's a wrap. You gotta let
Gotta
it go.
do it.
Exactly.
And even if you don't want to let it go, you must obey God.
Right.
And I had to obey the Lord.
Because
Right.
he'll start messing it up. For
Yeah,
you.
yeah, all types of
Yeah.
things would
Start happening.
start happening, because if he tells you to stop and you don't, then
That's
here
right.
come the enemy.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Then it
enemy
becomes
coming.
you. Then
That's
you
right.
doing it.
Right.
Yeah. But wait a minute.
Isn't
Let
it?
me ask you about my little cats. Do you still have them? The
Tell
one we
me,
gave you?
Sophia.
You still got them?
Oh my God, yes.
She still have
Oh
those
my
two little
God.
I
kids.
said, my baby's
I
not
bet they
going
big.
anywhere. Tails is my rebellious baby.
Yeah, that's Tails.
He's rebellious. I think he talks. I tell everybody, y'all think you're playing, but this cat
We
talks to
talk
me.
to you.
And I came out of my. They're so smart.
Uh-huh.
They know what time I get up from work. So if I shut my door, he's at my door at about 5:30, 6 o'clock,
No.
meowing for me to get up.
Uh-huh.
And then when I get up, he walks in and they do this thing when their bowls are not full. But then one day, I guess Tails was having a bad day, and I walked in and I said, "Good morning," and he turned around and looked at me. He said, "Meow," and I said, "You sure right." So when he don't get his way, he does this. Meow, 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 meow. It's like he's fussing.
Oh,
And I
wow.
say, "You're fussing," and people laugh, and I'm like, "Y'all think that cat is talking?" He's mad, and he giving me the.
He
know,
telling you it's
He's
Tails.
telling me that he mad. I need to do what he want to do, and why you ain't giving me none, and giving me no food and things like that. But Sophia, she's just a big old baby.
Sophia was just sweet.
She's
And
just
you
a big
still
baby.
have both
I
of
still
them.
have both of them.
Wow.
Mhm.
We gave them those little kitties.
Yeah.
And we lost both ours.
Oh.
Yeah, they ended
Yeah.
up getting hit in the street, running in
Oh,
there.
No,
really?
we think the next
Yeah.
door neighbor got one
And I
of
think the next door neighbor stole the other because they
Oh,
can't
really?
just be looking at me like she know.
them.
I'm not bringing no more in because you get so attached to
You
them
do.
and
Yeah.
everything
You
and
do.
stuff. So, okay, now your ministry.
Mhm.
You're single now, right?
I am in the divorcing.
Okay.
My third marriage.
Okay.
I've been divorced twice. But working on the divorce coming up, and but the ministry, God wants the ministry to be different in time,
Right.
the end time,
Mhm.
Right.
and about to get these people delivered.
Right. Right.
Because some of them, with the world and everything that goes on right now, and
Yes,
television
Lord.
and everything is about sex, and
Thank you.
women are teaching their kids. You get the grandmothers that's not the old school grandmother,
Mhm.
and they teaching their grandbabies how to dance on a pole or drop it like it's hot. And this
Right.
is their life. This is what they're living. So
Right.
this is what they're putting out on the
Mhm.
kids. But one thing that the Lord had to show me is that when people do that, or when they
Mhm.
dress a certain way, some of them don't know no better, and you can't judge them based off the way that they were raised.
Right.
But you introduce Christ and
To
teach
them.
Christ, and then if they receive it, then that thing
That's
that's
the
in
best
here is
part.
going to change.
Mhm.
Right.
And you don't have to force them to change. So
Right.
basically, it's just the ministry is about deliverance, getting people to understand what's in us and what we need to be delivered from. Strongholds. The
Yes.
strongholds.
Right.
That's what we
How to
teaching
get
now.
delivered from those
Mhm.
strongholds.
Right.
Helping those that with addiction. And one thing that he said to me, because you always wonder when it comes to homosexuality, how do you treat these people? And he said, love.
That's
That's
what he
it,
told
love.
us. That's what he
it.
told us was love.
Love. Because
Right.
you can teach about me. Tell them how to live. Tell them what it is. And it's not for us to jump in his business
Right.
Uh-oh.
to try to change anybody.
Right.
That's for him to do.
Exactly.
And you're just a messenger.
That's
right.
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 You a messenger, you a teacher, and you
That's
teach them, and you leave it at that. You don't get caught up in, oh, he's dressing like a girl. Oh, she's dressing like it is what it is. It's not your concern. You
Right.
do what God tells you to do and how to teach.
And you teach
And
the
it's
word.
out of your
That's it.
hands.
Right.
And that's it. You
That's
give
it.
them scripture.
Right.
That's what we do.
And they have to
Right.
make up their minds or whatever
That's
they
right.
want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's true.
they can't just just make you accept them, though, right?
That no, you can't. God
can't
does not
force
force
nothing on
That's
us,
right.
right.
God don't
And
even
that's
force
it.
Himself on
That's
us.
right.
No,
So
he
you know,
doesn't.
you just
We
love
have a
them
choice.
and you move on, because all of us have sinned. All of us have done
That's
something,
right.
you know, with that. So we just have to deal with it. We stay with God's word and let God correct them, and then we done. Our thing is to bring glory to God.
That's right.
Bring Him the glory to that and stuff. So, okay, so are you looking to marry again? Or?
No.
Dang, you said that quick,
No,
didn't you? Didn't you
no.
say that quick?
I-
But your focus
That-
now, you married to Jesus.
That's it. The focus.
You gonna have a lot on your
the
plate.
focus now is I've been delivered from so much. When you come from being, I don't want to say the word, from being so out there in the world and sleeping around with just
Mhm.
about eating and everything,
Mhm.
being the one to cause the other two marriages to fail, and you become born again,
Yeah.
then God takes that spirit of lust, because
Mhm.
when you sleep around like that and you can sleep within and everything that comes, you have a spirit of lust,
Right.
and the person that you with has a spirit of lust as well.
Right.
So what we have to do is we have to get delivered from that.
Right.
That's right.
And to get delivered from that, that's
Mhm.
Jesus is on my mind.
That's right.
Jesus is on my mind. And I said that even some people say, well, you're gonna get married again. Okay. And I just do it. I say it just like that. Okay. Do you know what it's gonna take to remove,
Right.
to get me to be with another man? And I love God the way that I do.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I don't know the ways you're gonna have to be a man of God or something, because there is no way I'm gonna do any fornicating. You will not be able to touch me. None of that, because my body is of God. It's this
That's
temple.
right.
Sacrifice.
That's
It's
right.
His temple. So it's not. That's the last thing.
You
on
know,
my
and then
mind.
that's the thing. You know, when you're in ministry, you gotta have somebody that's yoked up with you too.
Yeah.
You want somebody that can help boost you, and you can encourage them as well. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
those are things that we have to look at, even when God is preparing us for that marriage. You just can't
Right.
marry anything in your ministry.
That's true.
You got to be
That's true.
very careful who you marry when you are in the ministry like this. So
Mhm.
you're getting ready to start your church and all of
Mhm.
this, right?
Yes.
So where do you think you're gonna have it? Is it gonna be here in Fort Worth, or
I ain't gonna listen Lord tell me to take it somewhere else.
okay, you gonna
It'll be right here in Fort Worth. That's the only way. He'd have to say, well, because he called me Felicia, he calls me Prophet, and then it'd be like you'd have to go here.
Mhm.
But right now, all I know is Fort Worth, and each day
Mhm.
as I go, he told me to write it down. So anything that
That's
comes to
good.
my mind, it's like you writing a vision
Right.
There you go.
and you make it plain.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he already know
Mhm.
what's in me to write anyway.
Mhm.
Right.
And I'm real particular about God's house.
Good.
God's house is different from my house.
Right.
Although
right.
God is ahead of me, period.
Yeah.
Right.
But his house is to be sacred.
Yeah.
And it's just certain things that I had one person say this. She says, we preach and we teach all the time. I think the best thing you can do is just picture Jesus sitting right in the seat.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say the things that you say?
In front of.
Would you preach the things that you preach? Well, how would you preach if Jesus is sitting there looking at you
Mhm.
in your eyes, in your
Wow.
face? I said, well, that's deep. That's real deep. So that's what I think. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Every time when I get up, I'm thinking Jesus, which he's right there anyway,
Mhm.
but I'm thinking in my head, he's here.
Right.
He's here
Right.
and he's talking to me
Yes.
at the
yes.
same time. So soul winning. Tell me what to do, Lord. And I allow him to use me even when
That's
I'm
good.
preaching.
That's
So-
good. So are you still doing your praise dance ministry and all that?
I haven't done praise dance come now over a year.
Really?
He told me to take my last praise dance. I did something different than I had ever done before.
Wow.
And afterwards he said, take the paint off.
Mm.
Okay.
And I had to remove the paint.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, but he was saying that I could still dance,
Yeah.
but no paint anymore.
Okay, get
Okay.
us some praise dance music. I want to see this. I know she good.
Oh
Is it do it for the audience? Do it for the viewers. Do it for the viewers.
my
Come on, 'cause
God.
you got your dress on and everything.
Oh my God. So
But she is good at praise
Yeah,
dancing
yes,
and
she is.
singing.
Yes, she
She
is.
can do all of the preaching, the singing, the praise dancing. Not only that, her sons, Kimberly, oh man, they were awesome
Yes,
too.
they are.
I mean, you could tell they put so much time and love And in that, you know, and all of them, it's just,
See,
it's
she
just
gotta
so nice.
perform. Come on, perform.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do?
You
I
gotta
know
go
what to do,
right
you
there,
know.
man. You gotta go.
We caught
Oh
on guard
my
yesterday.
God.
We asked her to sing "Fill Me Up," and she was like,
I
"Oh,
was like, oh my God, I don't even know the words. I haven't singing it so long. Let me think real quick.
Oh,
So,
man,
yeah.
But you did good.
But you did good. You got, but
That's beautiful.
are you
So
going to
powerful.
be denominational? Or
Non-denominational.
Non-denomination.
You just preach God.
Just preach
Because
God.
sometimes,
All right
you know,
now.
with the other, I'm not knocking no
No
Pentecostal.
denomination. Yeah, we
I'm not
understand.
knocking anybody's church.
Right.
But I just feel that some of the
Mhm.
things, these guidelines
And-
that you
yeah.
have, my thing is it in the word?
There you go.
Is it in the word? Did God say that they're not supposed to do this? Did God say these things and they hold them like you can't do that in here? You know, so
Yeah.
I remember I was raised as a Baptist.
Right.
And I remember when they said tongues was of the devil.
Right.
And I actually thought tongues was of the devil. I thought there was no such thing as a woman being a pastor.
Right.
So I was raised
Ooh.
like this. And I would say it, I ain't know I'm gonna be no pastor. But when God tell you the pastor, then you be like, what?
No, I wasn't supposed
So,
to do that. I'm
yeah.
a woman.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
woman was not supposed to preach.
Yeah.
That's true.
Mhm,
You
that's
know,
what they say.
well, have you ever been told that
Oh,
you're
I-
not supposed to be?
Women say, ain't no.
Yeah.
I ain't never had no one to come in my face
Until you can
and tell me that. I had one woman she just somebody that I know, she didn't know that God had called me to be a pastor because I don't say anything. And she was sitting there and she was like, I ain't no woman. And I looked at her and I said, you think that? And then she was like, yeah, because that's where it was. But when I got finished talking to her and telling her about some women in the Bible and telling her what Paul meant in Corinthians and everything, it changed the whole
See?
album.
Because
Yeah.
that's all she's been taught.
Yeah.
That
Right.
we're not supposed to preach.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just about your teaching and your training and all of
Right.
that
It
stuff.
really
So
is.
it sounds like you're excited about your church
I
and
am
everything.
now because
You are now?
I was
Was.
afraid.
At first, huh?
I was afraid because you think, Lord, I don't know how to, start a church. I don't know what that is. But when he says, yes, you do.
He gonna tell
So
you.
he's gonna tell me,
Yeah. That's
you've
right.
been in leadership. You
That's
know how to
right.
start things. You know
Right.
how to structure
Mhm.
things. You've been doing this all your life.
Right.
So when I give it to you, you're gonna know.
That's right.
You're gonna know what to do because I'm gonna bring it back to your remembrance. All the things that you've done.
That's right.
Through your life. So I just wait on him because I'm
That's
in no hurry.
That's
You
right.
didn't know her.
I'm in no hurry.
Uh-huh.
And he also told me, he showed me where you don't worry about people reach out to people to come to their church.
Uh-huh.
All you gotta do is connect with God in the spirit.
Yeah.
And he's gonna connect those in the spirit
Yes,
to
he
bring
will.
them to the church.
That's right.
You don't have to do all the work
That's
all the
right.
time. Just let him
That's
do the
right.
work.
And he'll do
You
it.
just do what he
I'm
tell
a
you
living
to do.
witness.
Yes,
He'll
he
do
You
it.
know,
will do
so
it.
He
I
said
rely
he'll
on
send
the
the
Lord.
people to you, and I'm a living witness of it.
Mhm.
And I do believe in patience. I
Yep.
move
Right.
when he tell me to move.
Right.
And it
Right.
always work out.
It does.
Right.
It
does.
always comes. When you start listening to man, you need to do this and you need to do that and you need to do that. Nope. Like Pastor always tell us, did God tell you to do
That's
it?
right.
And if God told you to do it, then you do it. If he did not tell you to do it, you leave it alone. 'Cause
Right.
that's what our pastor gonna tell us quick. Did God tell you to do it?
Mhm.
Right.
And if
That's
he
right.
didn't tell you to do it, we are not doing it.
That's
you know,
right.
because we're not here to be people pleasers. I'm here to
Right.
please God. So
Right.
you have to be careful with that.
That's right.
You know?
Mhm.
And you have to watch your surroundings sometime to see, because some people don't like it when you step out on faith.
Right.
That's true.
They don't want you to step out on
It's
faith.
called hate. I call it
Hater.
haterade.
Yeah.
Haterade.
Oh, I
But
like that
you
haterade.
We can't get into that because
Uh-huh.
my uncle that's in California, he says this. He says this. Be careful
Uh-huh.
when people say, "Oh, God ain't called her to do that," or God ain't called them to do that. Be careful of saying that.
Thank
Because
you.
you don't know
No.
what God done told
Yes.
them to do.
Yes.
As long as it don't contradict
With his word.
with his word.
Come on.
And you
Come on.
can't say God have people to do
Yes.
things according to their knowledge
Right.
Yeah.
and the way that they understand it.
Yeah.
Right.
He can tell me something and tell you the same thing,
Uh-huh.
but it's the way that we receive.
There you go.
Receive things different than I do.
Yes.
He do certain words with you that he may not use
yes.
with me.
Right.
And just to say, well, I just they just not gonna do that. And no,
You
don't say
know
it.
that.
Let's look in the word. What does the word say?
Mhm.
And that's what my uncle had to get me to understand. That he was like, honey, if it lines up with the word, you can't
That's
say
what we
what
say.
God won't do.
That's
Right.
right.
And the only time that you want to say that is if it's not in this word and they're acting out in such a way that you know that it's Satan and how
Right.
Satan does trickery
Right.
and things like that. So that's
Yeah. And then go ahead. Well, you gonna say something, Kimberly?
I said that's good.
You know, as long as we are listening to God
Mhm.
and not man,
Right.
then you on the right track.
Yeah.
And it's gonna line up with it and stuff. Okay. So I know our time is getting close, but before we gotta show our model of the week.
Oh man.
Our model of the week is Kimberly. Kimberly is our model of the week. Come on, Kim,
I'm
let's
feeling
show.
this hat over
I
there.
love that hat, girl.
Yes,
I
I'm feeling
love
the
it.
hat. About that. And
I
the
love
belt.
that hat.
I'm feeling it.
And then she got, I love those. Now you gotta get out there a little so I can see. I love those boots, or those considered boots or shoes. Booty, and I love that purse. That purse look like money there.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Is there any money in there? I want the purse with the money. If it ain't no money, I don't want it. Oh shoot, well,
Ain't
keep.
no
I
money.
love the belt though. The belt matches it. Does the belt matches the purse?
It does.
Yeah.
It sure does. That's
It
cute.
does.
And the jacket. That's who?
Michael Kors.
Michael
All
Kors.
right. Well, she paid some money for that, baby. And the hat. Let's see.
I like
love
the
the
hat. I
hat.
love the hat.
What about your necklace?
Yeah, the necklace is beautiful.
Salmon.
Really? I love that, Kimberly. And the legit, you know what? We wouldn't pants like that in the country. We would make those pants like
Really?
that because they were we would want so much.
But that's how we started out.
Yeah, with the little
Right.
cuts in the
We had to
and now
cut it
you're paying
ourselves.
for that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And we were ashamed to wear
Right.
it like that
Right.
because we had
And now they paying for it.
Yeah.
now we paying for it to
And
be
they
cut
high.
like
Yeah,
that. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
I tell you, and back in the day, we could have been rich wearing
I
on
know,
the
right?
pants
Yeah.
and cutting them up and making our own
Yeah.
designs, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, Felicia, what would you lead to our YouTube audience and Facebook audience? What words of encouragement would you give them? And being in the ministry and all that.
But basically, like I said, be encouraged. No matter what people tell you.
That's right.
No matter how when you're hurt, it's all about getting forgiveness in your
Yes.
heart. Don't carry the things that people have hurt you with in your
Oh,
heart.
I like that.
And ask God if you feel like you can't do it on your own.
Mhm.
You ask God to help you get delivered because He can. You just don't want the hatred in your heart
That's right.
because God judges your heart. And just let go and let God.
Yes.
And if
yes.
you look at your enemies, just smile and just let
Smile.
God handle it because He fights your battles anyway.
That's
He
right.
does.
He does.
He fights your battles.
Yes, he
And
does.
no weapon formed against you shall prosper anyway.
That's right.
So the more that they come at you, don't even do anything.
It makes
Don't
you
even do
stronger.
anything. It makes you stronger.
Yes.
Yeah.
They say
Yes.
love your enemies anyway. But
That's
they
right.
can't understand how we can love them even though they mistreat
I love
us.
them. I'm a person that I can't even stay mad at you long.
Long.
I don't know what that is. My
Yes.
brothers, my mother and my brothers say I'm a person that I just don't hold on to nothing. I'm not real what's the word? Sensitive in
Mhm.
certain areas. And I can forgive. You can do something to me and I guarantee you in a
That's
couple
a
of
blessing.
hours.
You don't
That's
forget all
good.
I
That's
hear.
good.
My husband said, he actually said, can you help me in that area? Because
Wow.
I've never seen anyone that can
I
go
can
like
mistreat
that,
you and then you
in
still
another
go on.
hour, it is like it's
Yeah.
never happened.
Right.
She's that there.
I ain't doing it.
Kimberly.
I ain't letting go.
That's the devil having right there. Kim,
I ain't letting go.
Kim, you may know her mom,
Her mom.
Carol Nixon.
Girl, shut up.
That I figured you knew it because
Oh,
we
you
all
know
work
what?
together. Yes.
What?
Yes.
No
I do. I
way.
just thought about that. Because we all work together.
Oh,
Carol.
my
Hi,
goodness.
Carol. Yes.
No way.
I just thought about
Yeah, that's
that.
my mom.
That's her mom.
Well,
It
don't,
tickled
slap,
me.
don't slap your mama, baby.
Don't slap your mom. No, you ain't gonna
Yeah,
slap
yeah,
Carol.
don't slap
I don't
your
want
mama.
to die.
I know,
She
right?
will not slap
I don't
Carol.
wanna
We know
die.
Carol, honey.
I don't want to die.
Oh, baby. So it's been a blessing to have you on the show to hear about your ministry and your life and how, and we wish you well with your new ministry. And if we can help you in any way, please call us and let us be. Because she used to be a member. Well, she's still our member.
Yes, she is.
She's still our family. She joined back years ago and but she's still in my babies too. They still my babies anyway. So, but God has truly blessed you. You look good. Thank you for coming to be. So, which sauce do y'all think she is? Is she cautionary? Is she catching up? Or is she hot sauce? Or is she slap your mama sauce? Okay, the audience says she hot sauce. Because you got to be hot in this ministry. Yeah. You got to know that who you are. And so, you all please tune in every Monday and Thursday with the Talk of Life Talk Show with Elma. If you would love to be on our show, contact me at www.elmatalkshow.com. We would love for you to be a part of our show because we want those that may not know Felicia Byrne, prophetess, evangelist. I don't even know. You all of the above, but she is the prophet. That's what he named her. And now you will know her. So she's unknown, but now she's known. Amen. So, Felicia, if you ever want to come back, we do sister chat. Okay. We throw in topics.
She owes us a dance.
You can come back and do a praise dance. You can come back and do a sermon. That's what we need to do. We need to have a sermon on our show, y'all. We need to get somebody to come and preach. Wouldn't that be good? Hey, we can have us a choir and we can get down for Jesus. And even have Carlos to come up here and preach for us. Yeah. So, but anyway, thank you, Felicia Byrne, Prophetess Born. We really have enjoyed you tonight. Amen. And again, let us know when you're opening up so we can, come bless you or whatever. And again, thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Linda. Thank our producers, Emmanuel and Carlos. May God bless you until what? I see you face to face on the Talk of Life Talk Show with Elma.
Amen.